You are listening to the Sports and Sorts podcast.
Jack Joyce looking up. See ya. 3,000. History.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble. This one by Mattingly. Oh, hang on to the roof. Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Little roller up along first. Behind the man. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Yes, welcome back. This is Sports and Sorts with Shane and the Bryman. I'm one of your hosts, and my name is the Bryman.
And I'm the other host, the Shane.
Close.
Something's
I'm surprised
wrong.
you didn't say the shiz. I'm really
The
surprised.
shiz.
I'm surprised.
I'm the shiz and I'm awful.
So, welcome back. This is episode 117, and we got a great show today. We're going to talk a lot of NFL, obviously, recap the Thursday night football game that happened that was actually, in my opinion, very entertaining. Talk about Sunday night football. We got our picks. I got a few. Brian's got a few. We're not doing an extra one this week, although I might try and sneak one in if the Bryman lets me, so I could try and play catch up. But anyway, we got lots to talk about. We got a little state of the Yankees probably at the end as well. So, does that make me Callahan's? Yes, Damien, that does make you Callahan's, and that makes Callahan the beautiful mind, which, when it comes to fantasy football, technically Callahan is a beautiful mind. So, you could really throw it either way. I think that works. What do you think? You think that we could switch those two names up?
Sure.
Cool.
Why not?
I don't think I could do you, though. Well, that didn't come out right. I don't think I could be you. You have a personality about you, an aura. You have a skill set that I don't think can be duplicated.
We should probably move on. It's just so awkward. The Saturday show is when we work the kinks out.
Well, obviously it's a little more casual.
Sure is.
Yeah, it's nice and relaxed. But anyway, we got a lot to talk about
before
today.
Before we get into anything, may I just say, welcome fall. Goodbye summer. It's over. You summer-loving sweat hogs. It's over. Get your pumpkin and oh, it's so great. I love it.
That ravishing Rick Rude right there.
I don't want to give you my. I don't want to do the ravishing Rick Rude impression again. You got that pre-show.
I did. The whole inside. You took off your shirt and everything.
I took off my robe. Yeah. Yeah.
Brian has a je ne sais quoi.
Oh, what? A je ne sais quoi?
He has, yes, a je ne sais quoi about him, I'm assuming. Because you do.
Yeah, he's right. He's not wrong. Let's move on. Let's talk some stuff here. Let's talk sports and other sorts of things.
Yes, let's get into it, because we got a great show. So let's go.
You are listening to Sports and Sorts with Shane and the Bryman.
All right, so let's recap some football. We got Thursday night football. It was the Jets at the Browns in the dog pound. And it was a good game. It was a game that I was extremely excited to watch for many reasons. We got to watch Sam Darnold play. And he played a rookie. And like I had said on, the show on Wednesday, I had a feeling something would happen to Tyrod Taylor and the clock would get started early on Baker Mayfield. Now, I didn't expect it to be a concussion that would lead to this, but no matter what, This is Baker's team now. I don't care how much you love Tyrod Taylor or whatever it is. You don't want to. You can't lose your job to injury. Whatever. Obviously, Tom Brady.
Oh no, it's over. It's over.
He will. This is Baker Mayfield's team. He will go on to give them multiple wins, maybe as many as 8 by the year's end. But I would lean more towards like 6 or 7 total.
Keep in mind,
this year,
the Browns should be 3-0 right now.
They should be.
They really should. They really should be 3-0.
But that's not Tyrod Taylor's fault. That's their kicker's fault.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So, I'm just saying, but Baker Mayfield should be at the helm of a 3-0 team right now.
He should. He's not. And that's why they're going to probably finish somewhere 6-7 and, they have one tie. So they'll be like.
Something in 1.
Yeah, they'll be like 6-8 or 6-9-1 or something
maybe
like that.
Maybe 2. They might get a couple of ties. It wouldn't shock me if they tied a couple of games.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, that's true. They have a lot of talent, and it was a ton of fun to watch this past Thursday. We've got a couple of Thursday night games that have been entertaining just because of either the points that were scored, surprising plays. Like I think it was last Thursday that was that AJ Green that went bananas.
Yes, when he went nuts in the first quarter, basically
3 touchdowns, and me and you were celebrating like crazy because he's on both of our fantasy teams. So that was exciting. It obviously spewed into the next week where we talked about. I still lost that game. The rest of my team just didn't show up. Yeah, oh, that's unfortunate because that's a great start.
I think I lost that game. I'll have to take a look, but I think I did. I was really pissed.
That's really bad. Not gonna lie, that's pretty bad.
The rest of my team just
yeah,
they just suck.
It does happen. In one league, I've done pretty well, but I'm 0-2 because I've had the most points scored against me. So that's just one of those years in one of those leagues, Anyway, so that Thursday night football game was exciting. It actually, it ended up leading into the next week where we made our first bet on the show, which was the Red Rifle versus Matty Ice. For the entirety of the season, who has a better year? I took a Red Rifle. You took Matty Ice. And if it's close, we'll let all the fans, all the listeners, we'll let them decide who is the winner. But Thursday Night Football has been good so far. It's a thing that we don't particularly like. I'm sure it'll start going back towards that at some point in time, just because the short weeks don't usually play well. These teams are tired. They need the full week to recover. So we'll see how that all that transpires. All right. So how did you feel about Thursday night game? Did you? I mean, I tuned in. I tuned in late because obviously the Yankees were playing the Red Sox, so I had to watch that. But as soon as I was kind of flipping back and forth, I would occasionally take it. The Jets had a comfortable lead at the beginning, and I was kind of like, all right, I can focus on the Yankee game completely. And then as soon as the Yankees went down 11-6 or whatever it was, I was like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah.
I can't even watch this. This is just like
embarrassing
at this point.
I could not watch I refused to watch the Red Sox dance on our field. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I can never watch that. It's I really just wish the Yankees could have swept them just to avoid seeing that. And I didn't watch any of the champagne dousing in the locker room. I couldn't deal with that. So yeah, I was pretty much tuned into the Thursday night football game, which was, we've had some good Thursday night football games, which shocks me because I think Thursday night football is an abomination. But so far, these games have not been bad. But this one, so far, if you had seen this on paper at the beginning of the year, Browns Jets, you'd have been like, this is what I can skip. Mm-hmm. But you know what? We got the clock started on the Baker Mayfield era, and all indications are that, I'll tell you, if Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold are going to be, if this is what we're going to see out of this draft class, these are going to be the two headlining guys from this draft class, then we're in for some fun football for a long time. But boy, oh boy, Baker Mayfield in his first appearance, can he sling that ball? He can. It's almost like watching him throw a football. It's almost like watching like a superhero because you can almost see how the energy of him throwing a football starts from his feet and he just fires. It just goes up through his body and he just fires a cannon. It's unbelievable. Watching that guy sling, and I watched him a little bit in college, and I knew enough about him, but I guess I didn't watch him closely enough. Because to watch this guy fire the football, to see that ball explode out of his hand is crazy. He has a cannon. Now, he didn't throw a lot of deep balls. I mean, they were mostly kind of mid-range stuff, but everything he throws has some serious mustard on it. He threw a couple of balls behind, but
he almost threw a pick six.
He did.
He almost threw an interception in the end zone.
The one thing I will say that you can't really deny about him, though, is that he came into that game. Yeah, he came into that game, and that everything just changed. The stadium lit up. You could see the team perk up a little bit because I think they know this is the guy. They're seeing this guy in practice every week. Hugh Jackson couldn't even in the post game. He couldn't even hide it. He couldn't even sit there and try to fake like, oh, yeah, he looked. We're surprised. I'm surprised. And Hugh Jackson was like, look, we see this in practice all the time.
Right.
And I would have to say at this point, if Tyrod Taylor is back on the field again, it would have to be because of injury to Baker Mayfield.
Right.
There's just the clock has started.
Poor play. I mean, if they're not going to keep him out there, he's playing terrible. But I don't expect him to play terrible.
I don't expect him to play terrible.
He's going to play like a rookie. I mean, he's going to make mistakes, but he's young.
He's young. But listen, but even still, I would let him keep going because you've started the clock on him now. Honestly, you should have started him in week 1. But hey, look, injury forced your hand. He's in there. Let him play now because the best thing you can do is let this guy have a full season under his belt. He's going to make rookie mistakes, but get that stuff out of the way now.
Yeah.
So that next year you're looking at a really, really competitive Browns team.
Because no matter what, you weren't looking at a 10-6 team this year, but next year you could possibly be looking at that.
Sure.
You have the talent on both sides
of the ball.
And you know what?
10-6 next year might be enough to win this division because the Steelers are not the Steelers anymore. They're going to be without Le'Veon Bell next year. Mm-hmm. You're going to have Ben Roethlisberger, who's a year older. And it's just, it just seems like things are trending badly for the Steelers right now. And if you're the Browns, you're a young upstart team. And here's the other thing I'll say about the Browns. Their defense is legit.
It's good, yeah.
It's a good defense.
Yeah.
So you've got a good foundation there. You're already good on that side of the ball. And now, I mean, I would have liked to have seen it work out with Josh Gordon in Cleveland because I think that could have really been a tremendous weapon for Baker Mayfield. But you know what? They parted ways. They still have good receiving options, but Baker Mayfield seems like one of those guys, though, that maybe he can elevate everybody else. Maybe the loss of Josh Gordon won't really be that much of a sting.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what, you're taking your team's worse when you get rid of him, unless he's being such an off the field distraction, but it doesn't seem like they were really all that distracted by him. But I don't know. It just that whole situation was weird.
It was.
But I expect them to take their lumps this year, and they're also going to have times where they look like a legit playoff team because Baker Mayfield's going to put it all together. But there's going to be other games where he's just confused by the defense that's out there, the scheme that they put against him. He's a rookie. He's not going to know it all. I mean, that's the whole thing with Tom Brady. Like now is he's gone through everything. He's seen everything. He knows everything. So you can't really fool him anymore.
No.
So that's the big thing with Tom Brady is that he just has seen it all. So you can't really trick him. So therefore, he's not going to make a ton of mistakes. And now, I mean, we'll get into the Pats versus Lions a little bit later. But that is a game that I'm kind of looking forward to seeing because I have Tom Brady, Josh Gordon on all my teams. I have Tom Brady on one of my teams. And Baker Mayfield, for anybody that's a fantasy player, that has a fantasy team that has Landry on their team, this is a big step up for you because he is going to give the ball to Landry.
Yes.
Jarvis Landry's going to be so used in this offense now, and especially with Josh Gordon gone. I have Jarvis Landry on one of my teams, and he scored me I think 20 points. I mean, he had 108 yards, he had 8 catches. I mean, it was a great game for me, and he had a 2-point conversion that he threw to Baker Mayfield. So
Baker Mayfield will fall in love with Jarvis Landry very quickly.
He should. I mean, he's got great hands. I mean, he dropped a couple of balls, I think, on Thursday, but that's not typically him. So,
but also we should also point out one other thing. Congratulations to the Browns, who had not had a win in 630 plus days.
They got those free Bud Lights.
The Bud Light coolers opened up. Cleveland went bonkers.
Yeah.
Good for them. Good for them. You know what? Things are not too bad in Believe Land right now. You've got, I mean, the Cavs are going to suck, but you've got the Indians who, I'll tell you, man, you better, if you're the Red Sox, watch out, because that might be a team that you end up playing. And then, listen, the Browns, I think the Browns are on the up and up. I really do. It's, they knew something when they drafted this kid, because you don't take somebody number 1 overall like that. I know that surprised a lot of people, but I mean, the early returns are good. Yes, Joe. We'll get to
Fire Cashman.
Yeah. We'll get to that. We'll get to that shortly.
Yes, we will get to that a little bit later. The BriMan can, of course, text you as you like to be let known. When we dive into the state of the Yankees.
When we dive into baseball, yeah.
All right. So let's before we do that, let's just go ahead and just give us a thumbs up, give us a little like on the page, give us a like on this show, on this episode. It helps us get the word out. We got a couple likes up there already. Really appreciate it. Go ahead and comment any topics, rants, or anything like that. Joe, if you have a rant about why they should fire Cashman, go ahead and put it in the comments and let us hear you, because we want to know what you have to say, because quite frankly, your rants are pretty epic, from what I gather, by what the BriMan always tells me. So just try and keep it PG-13-ish. Only one F-bomb. I can censor that out. All that kind of stuff. All right, so let's get into our NFL picks for this coming Sunday. I will go over real quick what we have done so far. Neither one of us are doing great. The BriMan is he's 4 out of 10, so he's four correct, 6 incorrect on the season so far. He has one more than I do, because he decided to pick the Dolphins in the Dolphins-Jets game last week, which didn't end up well. He also took a team last week. It was, and this is the caveat, when you keep on talking a little too much, sometimes it bites you in the butt. And that happened with the BriMan last week, because he said he could have had another win, but he said, if Leonard Fournette doesn't play, I'm choosing the Patriots. But his pick was that the Jags would beat the Patriots unless Leonard Fournette didn't play. And I had to put that down as a loss, because Leonard Fournette did not play.
You gave me a loss on that? Oh, I didn't. I actually didn't. Yeah. You know what? I thought about it, and I was going to text you to say, okay, I'm switching to the Patriots, but I didn't. I actually thought I got the win on that, so no, I guess I didn't.
Because you said the
all
key
right.
thing was
fair enough. You're right.
Go back and look at it.
No. I know what I said.
It's like 1920, I think, in there. I went back and looked at the tapes, because I was I think he said he picked the Jags, but
I'll stand by what I said.
Had a caveat in there. There's a little.
I did. Okay. All right. Words matter. Words matter.
Words
people.
do matter. We take everything seriously here. And I, on the other hand, predictions of 2021 USA curling team. USA. I'll just say USA, because I like them guys. The guy looks like Mario, so I'm going to pick USA. All right. So let's see. I am a spectacular 1-8. I'm like pretty much what the Bills' record might be after 9 games. I have picked 1 right out of 9, and not doing so well. So I have some catching up to do to catch to the BriMan by the end of the year. We got to come up with a bet for that too. We got to come up and see who does better by the end of the season. You have a commanding lead.
Is it that the beer bet? What's the beer bet?
No, the beer bet's from Matty Ice and Red Rifle.
Oh, okay.
That's the beer bet.
Yeah,
we got to come up with something else for that. So if you guys have any,
why don't we leave that up to listeners?
Yeah, whoever wins. I mean, obviously Brian has a commanding lead. I mean, I'm 1-9.
I wouldn't call it commanding.
I've only won 1 game.
We're only up to week 3.
We only pick 3 a week.
Not
really. We pick Monday night and Thursday night too. So
all right, yes, fine. We will leave it up to our listeners/viewers. The bet is who will have. What does the winner get in the overall season picks for NFL games?
Yes.
And that is it. So we will leave it up to you guys.
We will leave it up to you. You let us know.
We'll start taking comments right now.
What the winner wins and what the loser gets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll leave it up to you guys, whoever's listening.
Keep it relatively clean.
The BriMan doesn't want to do anything that kind of messes with his gut, his internal.
No, eating weird stuff. This isn't the pub scene from The Ladies' Man. Okay, we're not going to be eating,
pickled pig's feet.
Yeah, right. Exactly. No, thanks. I'm good with that.
Pickled Texas testicles. What was it? Was it sheep's balls? Was that what it was?
Yeah. Or there was
all sorts of nasty stuff.
Poop was one of them.
Yeah,
there was
you can't do that. Yeah,
there was pickled crap in there. Yeah,
that's disgusting.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
No,
keep that out of it.
No, none of that stuff. I mean, I'll have pickles. Pickles are yummy. Pickled cucumbers. All right. $1 million. No, that's not going to happen because neither one of us have that. So unless you're going to give it to the winner, Mr. C Dizzle, then we'll gladly give the winner $1 million. Unless the loser is going to get $1 million. Either way, you're ponying up. We'll do. I mean, he is a poker player, so maybe he had a good night at the tables. All right, so let's get into our Sunday football picks. I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll go first.
Yeah, sure.
It's a tough one. It's Colts versus Eagles. Tough because, one, the Colts looking good. They're looking good. Eagles putting Wentz back in. Maybe a little.
Your boy's back.
Yes. And I cannot wait for this game. This is if this game is not on national TV, I might actually go to a bar to watch this game because
I think you're going to a bar.
Andrew Luck with his offensive-minded Frank Reich as a head coach, this is what he has hoped for since he got into this league. And man, will this pay dividends in the long term. This team, even in the second half of this season, will be a beast. But they are going against the Eagles and my boy, Carson Wentz, who is back. Carson Wentz. This man is so badass. When Carson Wentz jumps into water, Carson Wentz doesn't get wet. The water gets Carson Wentz.
Can I ask how long does it take you to come up with this crap?
Anyway.
Also, that was not one of your better ones.
I liked it. I like that one.
Obviously.
Water gets Wentzed. Anyway, the Eagles get their leader back, and although I expect him to be a little rusty and the play calling might be a little conservative, I think that the Eagles will come away with a win this week. I am going to give this a score of 28-21, and I'm going to give the Eagles the win over the Colts, just because the Colts are going to need a little bit more time under Frank Reich's tutelage and with Andrew Luck at the helm because he was sidelined for so long. It's going to take them some time. Plus, their defense is not great. So I feel like the Eagles will be able to get away with some stuff. I think that, Andrew Luck does throw some picks because he takes a lot of chances, and that could end up biting them. And I think the Eagles will get that win, 28-21.
Okay.
Who do you got? Who do you got for your first game?
I would have picked the Eagles. I'll go with my first game, which is a 1:00 game. Saints at Falcons. Interesting game because you've got two teams who have, I guess you could say on paper so far, been a little bit disappointing. The Saints, I think a lot of people, though, are looking at the Saints and thinking, boy, this team just doesn't look right. They didn't really look – I mean, they looked bad last week in a game against the Browns in New Orleans after coming off that really shocking shootout of a loss against the Bucs in week 1. But you know what? I'm going to give some credit to the Browns because I think the Browns' defense is really good. And I don't think it matters whether they play on the road or at home. The Browns have a good defense. So the fact that the Saints pulled that game out, though, I think was a nice little gut check for them. And I am really worried about the Falcons early in the season because they are taking on some injuries that I just don't think they can sustain. They've got 5 starters out this week, and you can add Devontae Freeman onto that list now. Now, I don't know that that's a huge hit for them because Tevin Coleman is a fine fill-in for him. But you know what? There's only so many guys you can throw onto the pile before it starts to impact you. And listen, this is an indoor game. This is it doesn't really matter that it's a road game. The Saints are used to playing on a fast track. And I think the Saints are the team that's more likely to right the ship than the Falcons right now. So I actually like the Saints on the road in Atlanta getting a win. I do think there's going to be some points scored in this game. because I don't think either defense is – I just, in these indoor games where the elements do not come into play, I really think it just, both teams are going to be flying up and down the field. So I've got a 35-30 Saints on the road over the Falcons.
Wow, 35-30. That's going to be a high-scoring game. That sounds good. I like that one.
So do I. I've got a lot of fantasy players involved in that game, so I'm hoping it turns out that way. Maybe there's some wishful thinking in there, but,
All right, so I think your next game might be something that we haven't done in a while. And you did it in less than 2 minutes, too. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm just trying.
All right. This next game could be what I think it is, but I think the game that you're going to pick is going to be something that we're going to bring back, and I will show you in just a few seconds after I'm done with my little 2-minute segment on the Packers versus the Redskins. And now, you guys all know my love for Aaron Rodgers. He's my favorite player in the National Football League, but his team has narrowly won or tied in the first 2 games, and in this game, one of his receivers is not going to be available because Josh Norman is going to lock him down, and that is Davante Adams. He is going to be useless this game, in my opinion, and Ryan Kerrigan will be putting on mass pressure on Aaron Rodgers. And although if this game was later in the season or a playoff game, I would likely take Raj, but it's not. It's early on. And Alex Smith just doesn't, especially early in the season, does not make mistakes. The Packers won't get the benefit of turnovers. And if you couple that with the fact that Aaron Rodgers hasn't found a fit with Jimmy Graham yet, which is something that I thought would be utilized early on in the season, but it hasn't. So since it hasn't shown its face yet, and he needs that big guy in the red zone, until I see it happen, I can't bet on it. So in a bit of an upset, I'm going to take the Washington Redskins to beat the Packers 28-24. And I really hope I'm wrong because, as you know, I love Aaron Rodgers. I actually really enjoy watching the Packers because of Aaron Rodgers. And as I have been most of the time this season, I've been wrong. So hopefully for Packers fans, this trend continues. But this is how I see this week playing out. I think the Redskins win 28-24. In a bit of a shootout, and I think that it's going to be a fun game to watch. So I think that this is probably the second best game of the week. I have 20 seconds left. I'm just going to end it, and I'm going to throw it over to you in what I am going to call oh yeah, it's brought back. The game of the week, the Bryman's going to give you the Chargers versus the Rams. LA versus LA.
LA at LA.
I love LA.
In this case, the Rams are the home team. It wouldn't have mattered. The location of this game to me is irrelevant. I would have picked this game the same either way. Maybe the score a little bit different. But so, yeah, you've got the Chargers on the road at the Rams. You know what? On paper, this is probably the marquee matchup of the week. But that's about it. Because otherwise, I honestly don't think this game is going to be all that close. I think the Rams are just way too good on both sides of the ball. Mm-hmm. I'm really worried about the Chargers defense right now because without Joey Bosa, to me, they're more of an average team. On defense, they'll put up some points, but I don't think it's enough points to stave off the Rams because the Rams they're just a juggernaut. I honestly, in recent history, I can't think of a team that is like as well balanced as the Rams are right now in like every phase of the game. The only thing that the Rams are missing right now is their all-pro kicker, Greg the Leg, or I think they're calling him Legatron now. But Greg Zuerlein's out for a few weeks. But honestly, that's about the only hiccup here for the Rams. The Rams, to me, are going to win this game pretty easy. I think there's going to be some gunslinging early, but eventually I think the Rams defense is going to tighten up. Mm-hmm. I've got the Rams 31-20 over the Chargers, but I don't even think it's going to be that close.
31-20?
31-21. I think there's a garbage time touchdown in there for Phillip Rivers.
All right.
Towards the end, but I really don't think it's going to be that close.
Wow.
Yeah, I know it seems like game of the week on paper, and maybe it will be, but the Rams just have too much firepower. It's just too much.
All right.
I honestly, I'm already at the point where I've seen enough. And to me, the Rams, they should win the Super Bowl unless injuries,
Love this team.
But that shouldn't be shocking, right? Because you and I both have them in the Super Bowl.
Yes. Yep.
I've got them beating the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and I think you had them beating what? You have them beating the Jags? I forgot what our preseason.
Me? Steelers.
Oh, no, Steelers. You had them beating the Steelers, right.
Not looking good right now.
We're both, but it's looking good on the other side.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
The only thing that should derail the Rams from being in the Super Bowl is pretty much themselves. I would think injury would be the only thing that could knock them off course.
It's true. All right, so that's pretty much it there for the Sunday picks. We each have our two. We're going to get back into just a few seconds. We're going to get into our Sunday Night Football showdown, where we're going to, first we're going to play a little quick commercial. During this time, we could play other advertisements. So if you or someone that you know is looking for free advertising, have them email us at ShaneAndTheBriMan@gmail.com, and we will put a spot on them. We are providing free advertising for now, because we want to get paid. So we will be back in about 30 seconds or so with our Sunday Night Football pick. But as of right now, we'll be right back, and we'll play our commercial in just a second. I love LA. That's a great pick, though. I like that. That's a good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. All right, here is our commercial. We'll be right back after this. I got to pull this up. There we go. Now I can go.
Hubbard's drop deep to left field. Going back towards, looking up. See ya. 3,000.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Sports and Sorts with Shane and the Bryman. 75% sports and 25% sorts.
All right, we are back. And for the Bryman, I'm going to do it. So we are back. We have our Sunday Night Football pick. And this is definitely not the game of the week.
No, it's not.
First off, if you haven't yet, go ahead and give us a like. Give this video a like and help us get the word out there. Go ahead and share it with your friends. We appreciate that too. So we're going to get into our Sunday Night Football pick right now. Patriots versus the Lions. What the? Whoa, that's a lot of likes.
That's from me.
3 seconds. Jeez, that was a lot. So I'm going to start off by saying this. Patriots versus the Lions. This is... If the Patriots beat the Jags last week, I would have taken the Lions in a heartbeat. I actually would have, because I think that would have been a perfect setup. But that didn't happen, and I expect the Patriots to come out on fire. This is going to be straight up abuse on the football field. Tom Brady is going to throw for like 400 yards against a terrible Lions defense who is under the defensive-minded, the one and only, the Meh Patricia, as I like to refer him to, hashtag Meh Patricia. And I expect, Matthew Stafford to have a pretty good game too, because the Pats defense is still bend and slightly break mode this early in the season. But even though I have the Lions scoring 28 points, I think that some of that will be done really late when nobody cares. The Patriots are kind of chilling out on the sidelines at that point in time. And I really feel bad for Lions fans. Yes, I feel bad for you, C. Dizzle. I feel bad for Ronnie. This is not a good situation. I don't see it getting any better anytime soon. I applaud your senseless acts of kindness by rooting this team on, but this is going to be over by the half. And I think the final score will be 44-28, with 7 to 10 points coming in the last 5 minutes or so for the Lions. I think this is going to be absolute abuse. It's going to be a rough game to watch if you're a Lions fan. If you're an owner of Tom Brady or any of the Patriots wide receivers, you know, Hogan, you have tight end with Gronk, you have any of those guys, you are going to make bank this week with all your fantasy predictions. So, yeah, I have them 44-28. Who do you got?
Well, I think you covered it. There's really no reason to be repetitious here. It's going to be 35-17 Patriots. It's just going to be physical and mental abuse. The Lions are not. They're not a good team. Yeah, I really don't have anything else to add. You kind of stole my thunder there, because I just don't see any scenario here under which the Lions... I have no faith in their running game. And even though the Patriots have looked like very vanilla on defense, I still think this is one of those games where their defense will probably be made to look a little better than it is, because I just don't have a lot of faith. I think the Lions are a little too one-dimensional right now. I think they're very predictable. I think their offense is very predictable. You know, they don't do anything on the field that there is nothing here that makes me think the Lions could even be competitive in this game. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I'd be shocked if the Patriots didn't double them up. That's why I've got it at 35-17 Pats. I think the Lions are an absolutely horrific team, and I think the only reason America should tune in is if they have some fantasy players going, because otherwise there's just no point. Yeah. I think the most interesting thing in this game will be, will Josh Gordon play for the Pats? And if he does, how well will he have absorbed the Patriots system within the first 5 days of him being on the practice field? So to me, that's the most interesting part of this game. Other than that, it's going to be a beating.
It is. I really think it's going to be bad. It's going to be rough to watch. Sunday Night Football is not going to be good this weekend unless you are a Patriots fan, of course, which is something we happen to say a lot. All right, so that's pretty much it for football this week. We'll get into the Monday Night Football game on Monday when we do our show at 9:45 a.m. We'll talk about it then, and then on top of that, let's head on over to let's get into it. Let's get into our.
Hey guys, this is
No, that's the Chad. Where this Chad just trying to make appearances. Yeah, that was brutal. The Chad was there for a second there.
Joe Facetto, are you watching?
You should probably text him. We're getting to the state of the Yankees.
Sure.
I would love to hear what he has to say about these Yankees in the comments. So, come on, Joe. We're waiting to hear what you have to say. We will read it aloud. I will post it on the screen. Other than fire Cashman, we know that you want that to happen. Although last week when you did it, F-I-R-E, that was actually pretty funny. All right, so state of the Yankees. Look, they took 2 of 3 from the Sox, narrowly beat the O's last night. I am getting less and less excited for the postseason. This feels kind of like the 1997 team, but without the ring the year before. So it's nowhere near as fun. You know, this team went from a fun bunch of kids having a blast, making noise, and went into this year with very high expectations. And unfortunately, it seems like they drank their old Kool-Aid. And it just seems to me like they feel like, it's particularly bad teams. They should roll over them, and they don't. That doesn't happen in baseball. You can't.
They roll over for them.
You can't expect them to roll over for them. Yes, that's what I meant. You can't expect that. It just doesn't happen in baseball. That it's something that, any team can beat you on any given day. You're only as good as your starting pitcher. And that seems to happen a lot with this Yankees team. I mean, this is particularly when you live and die with the long ball. I know the Yankees lead the league in homers, but that particular stat goes way, way down in the postseason. Home runs, that stat goes way down. Pitching gets tougher. Offenses slow down. Plus, it's colder and the ball doesn't travel as well. So a lot of those Yankee wall scraper home runs that they had in the regular season, those won't go out in the postseason. Plus, they are only 1.5 games up in the wild card, so I don't even know if they will get the chance to play at home since, that team that, who the heck is that guy, Oakland Athletics, are playing out of their mind. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I will still take the Yankees over the A's in a one-game playoff because I believe this team, this Yankees team, this young Yankees team will get the fire lit under them once they get back to the playoffs, or at least I'm hoping that. I mean, nothing else has worked so far, so I'm going to go with that. I mean, what do you think when about the Yankees' chances? I mean, do you like the A's against them in the playoffs? I mean, if anybody, anything in the comments, if you want to say anything about this team in the comments, let me know what you're thinking. Do you think the A's are actually a better team with riding the hot streaks that they've had in the second half? Let me know. And I do want to throw out a slight congratulations to the Sox by winning the division. I'm sure it felt even nicer on Yankees, on the Yankees soil. So good on you, Damon.
I could. Yeah, congratulations for whatever that's worth. As far as the Yankees, I haven't wavered one bit in the last 2 months. This team is going to get eliminated in the wild card game. It doesn't matter if it's in New York. It doesn't matter if it's in Oakland. They're not surviving that game. This team is – there's just nothing there. It's like they have – the reason they've won as many games as they have is based strictly on talent alone. Because let's be honest, from end to end, their lineup is loaded. Mm-hmm. And the pitching staff, at least the top three guys, are good. The bullpen is nowhere near as advertised, though. Because honestly, they should have swept Boston. But Chad Green imploded, and, Chapman. That bullpen is nowhere near as good as they think they are. This team just has no magic. And you can see that Oakland has it. Even last night, Chris Davis gets the home run. That game was 6-6. I honestly, I feel like it doesn't really matter where this game is played. Oakland or New York, I actually feel like it's going to be same kind of score, like 6-3 Oakland, 7-4, something like that. They're just going to get up early, and the Yankees are just going to stay down. Because I believe this team has a glass jaw. I think they get punched early, they go down, and they don't get back up. And I hate to say that about this team because I would have never said that about last year's team, never. Last year's team I absolutely loved. I think we all loved them. We were at the wild card game last year. I was at 2 other playoff games last year where they won. Last year's team felt special. I still feel like last year's is going to be a championship that got away. I think we're going to look back on the 2017 season and say, you know what, that one got away. That was a special team that seemed to have magic, and they couldn't win one game in Houston. And I can't say I feel that way about this team at all. I have zero faith in this team. If they won and beat – now all I ask for from them, just figure out a way to beat Oakland and make Red Sox fans nervous. Because Boston will feel like – and their fans could deny this all they want, but they don't want to play the Yankees. They don't want to play the Yankees. There's just no way. If Damian were to come on here right now and say, I'd rather play Oakland, I'd rather play the Yankees than Oakland, I would just straight up, I'll call him a liar. There's just no way you want to play the Yankees. And it's not because, I think the A's have more magic. I'd actually be more afraid of Oakland because I just think they have more of an it factor than the Yankees. But if you are the Red Sox, you do not want to lose. You can't lose to the Yankees. You can't. If you're the Red Sox, you can't lose, period, this year. You have to win the World Series. Their fans have been very, very loud on social media, and I'm not saying they haven't earned that right. That's fine. I guess I would be too, but bottom line, there's no magic with this Yankee team. I'm not feeling it at all. They're going down against Oakland one way or the other, whether it's in Oakland or whether it's in New York.
Okay, so we have a couple of questions in there. First one up is Joe Pacetta. Actually didn't say fire everybody. He just said, guys, what are your thoughts on the MLB playoff system? I'll let you go first.
Well, I don't love this playoff system. I do. It's tough because, on one hand, look, you know what my biggest issue is like how big of an advantage is this really for Boston, who's won all these games? I'm actually going to take it from a different stance than you might think. Because for the Yankees, So the Yankees have won. They're going to probably win close to 100 games this year.
Yeah.
And yet they're going to find themselves in a one-game playoff. And some people might think that's not fair. Well, I would actually say if you're Boston, how big of an advantage is it really? I mean, other than the fact that you could get your starting pitching set up, you're still in a situation where, what's the really, really big advantage other than you have you're in a 5-game series in the LDS, and you're going to have to play, yes, you'll have home field advantage and you'll have your starting pitching set up, but how big of an advantage is it even for them? I mean, I don't know. This playoff system to me is flawed. I don't know that I have an answer off the top of my head as to how it could be better, but I don't know. I hate the 1-game playoff though. I'd rather actually see it be like a best of 3, but of course, then you're extending the postseason even further. And the only way to accommodate that is if you draw back the regular season by, say, 6 to 8 games. But we all know baseball ain't doing that because baseball loves making money, and there's way too much revenue. Most of the best ideas about fixing the playoff system have to do with scaling back the regular season. Newsflash, that's not happening. Owners will never, ever agree to that. There's way too much money to be made in losing 4 home games at the end of the season. There's just no way. There's no way. I'm sorry. But unfortunately, the best ideas have to do with that. So listen, this is why we're doing this and we're not running Major League Baseball because honestly, I don't love the system. I do think it's flawed, but I'm not sure how you make it legitimately better without scaling back the regular season. But that's not going to happen. It's not.
For Joe, I'll keep this thing up on here for a second. I think it's great. I think it's perfect. I think that if you want to play more games to get in, win the division. So far, they had plenty of opportunity to catch the Red Sox this year. The Red Sox played really well. The Yankees had plenty of opportunity. They played them head to head, over the course of the season a bunch of times. You held the destiny in your own hands. That's just what you did. It was you didn't win those games. You lost the season against the Red Sox, I believe, this year. It's always close, but you lost the season. And on top of that, you've been terrible against bad teams. The Orioles have a winning record against you this year. If you wanted to win it this year, you have to beat those teams. That is like one of those things that's just a given in baseball. You need to beat the bad teams. And then you go and try and do 50-50 against the good teams. That's just what happens. So I think that this is a great way. I think it's a great playoff system. If you want to not be in the wild card and only have one game, win your division. That's it. And if you happen to be in a tough division like we are, because even the Rays are good this year. I think they're playing like 50-50 ball. You happen to be in a tough division? Sorry. You know what? It's still in your hands because you're playing that person in your division a bunch of times. So if that's what you want, I think that's just how it goes. I mean, that's how I've always felt. I think that this is a great way to do it. I think that playoff game like we went to last year, we had a different feeling last year because the kids they brought us, and that game could have gone very differently. Very differently.
Well, we thought it was we weren't feeling good after the first inning there.
No.
Well, at least the first half of the first inning,
right?
Because Didi brought it right back.
Right. But it was a very somber stadium for a while
until Didi hit that home run on the place,
and then people went bananas, and it was great after that. Going forward.
Yes.
But I mean, regardless of all that, it is one of those situations that I think it works perfectly. I think it's it makes you try to win your division. You can't really lay down.
Yeah, again, for me, I think the fix is easy. I just think the wild card should be a best of 3 as opposed to a best of 1.
I think that's too much. I think that's giving them too much.
But the problem is, though, I'm also not in favor of extending the postseason even further into November. So something has to give, and the only way you can legitimately do it is to scale back the regular season, which I would be okay with, but owners would not be okay with. And we know that that's not going to happen. So whatever the solution is, it can't, you almost have to, you can sit here and say, well, yeah, fine, scale back the regular season. You have to kind of leave that out because you have to know in your heart of hearts that there's just no way that that's ever going to happen. The owners will never, ever agree to scaling back the regular season. There's just no way. There's no way. I can't see any scenario under which that happens. Do you? Do you see that? Can you possibly imagine that?
I'm reading comments.
Owners agreeing to scale back the season to 154 games. It's never going to happen.
Never.
But that's the only way I think it's the only way because that's the only way you get the best of 3 series in there.
Okay. So we'll move on from that. I mean, I think that it's perfect. I think, if you don't want to be in the wild card game, win your division. That's how I feel. You feel like they should probably go 3, but you don't really want to extend the season to, into November.
Well, it already likely will go into November.
Right, but you don't want it to go like well into November.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So, all right. We have Billy Menconi, I believe it is named.
Bill Menconi, yeah.
Bill Menconi.
Yeah.
He says, fire Torrey, fire Cashman, fire Boone. Quotes, I hate this team. Gets old.
No. He's making fun of Joe. He's not. He doesn't feel that way.
Yanks have 94 wins and have a very good team. They are not playing well, but everyone was high on this team in April and May. That's very true. Everybody was. And then he said, and if they beat the Oakland and the Sox, then fire Cashman, fire Boone. I hate this team.
He's just making fun of Joe.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. He's got a bunch of them here. 1918, 2004, 2007, 2013. That's it, boys.
No, that's not it. They've won.
Sox.
There's like 3 more that they've won.
This is the Sox. Let's not get excited. They have one more than that.
Bill bleeds pinstripes till the end. No doubt about it.
Damien agrees with you. He says, I agree on a best of 3, and while it will never happen, I'd rather go back to 2 divisions and 2 wild cards per league. MLB isn't cutting back on playoff games, though. I disagree. I think there's no reason. There's no reason to give you more opportunity to get further in the playoffs because you won a wild card. Wild card is barely getting into the playoffs. Sorry, I'm not sorry.
I know. I technically don't even consider if you're in that game. I don't actually. To me, that's a play-in game.
Yes.
I don't even technically consider that you have made the playoffs. I know you.
And that's what I think.
I know you have. I know technically speaking, yes, you did. You get to have the little playoff patch on the side of your hat that says so. But to me, that's a play-in game. Yeah. It's like the NCAA tournament where the 64th and the 65th teams play each other to be to be actually in the tournament. That's what it is.
Yeah,
that's a play-in game.
It is a playing game.
That is game 163 of the regular season. That's what it is.
I think that's what it should be. That's just how I feel. I just feel like that's it. That's just how I feel. You have to have a playing game. Pacento, Mike Pacento. Playoffs? Well,
playoffs.
We got to do it.
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
That's actually how I feel about the Yankees every time they play. I just hope they can win a game against the Orioles. You know what? Even last night, when it got to 9-8, I'm like, they just can't do. Nothing is easy for this team. Mm-hmm. Nothing. I mean, you score 10 runs, and you barely hold on to scrape by the Orioles, who had the tying run at the plate last night in the 9th. I'm sorry, man. They could play better against the Orioles.
See,
God's sakes, that team is awful. Do you realize I could strike Chris Davis out right now? I could. I swear to God I could strike Chris Davis out with my 60-mile-an-hour eephus pitch. I'm telling you right now. I could strike.
Not Crush Davis, but Chris Davis.
No, Chris Davis. Yeah, Chris Davis. Yeah. He's how is he in the major leagues right now?
He's not good.
You know why he is? His contract. That's the only reason he's playing.
Yeah.
That guy is awful.
They're not a good team. I think everybody agrees with that. But so Joe Pacento puts barely getting in. The Rays are going to wind up with more wins than the Indians and not being
He's right.
Being garbage.
And you know what?
That's fine.
The Rays are a scary team, man.
Yeah, they're going to be good in the future. I mean, Blake Snell is no joke.
Blake Snell better win the Cy Young, by the way.
Probably.
He better win it.
There's a good chance. I mean, Kluber's been.
He deserves it.
Kluber's been.
Yeah, I'd give it to Snell. Snell's had a crazy year.
But I mean, Cleveland is. But they've won their division, and that's I like that.
True. Very true. No, I do too.
So
even though that division is awful,
it is. It's terrible.
Just awful.
But I guarantee.
But you know what? But again,
who would you rather play in the playoffs? The Indians or the Rays?
Oh, no, I'd rather play the Rays. Yeah, I mean, Cleveland is built for the playoffs. That team is completely built for the playoffs with that rotation, and if Andrew Miller's healthy.
The biggest problem is Cody Allen. Cody Allen has been struggling this year.
He is a problem.
He's been struggling. That is a problem. Believers this year. I mean,
but you know what, though? Of all the guys that I'd want managing my bullpen, Francona's the guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy. He's the guy. I mean, he's and with his pedigree as a postseason manager, he might be able to offset that a little bit. He's as. I mean, I will tell you though that beyond Andrew Miller though, if Miller was not healthy, Cleveland's that's their. I mean, they have the same flaw as the Red Sox. Really, it's the bullpen. But
all right, so,
I still don't think that's a fatal flaw for Boston. By the way, I really don't.
That's pretty much it for our show today. We've gone to almost our hour, and it's a Saturday, so we really appreciate you guys tuning in. But and like I said, if you have anything, if you know anybody that wants some advertising or anything like that, go ahead and send them our email, ShaneAndTheBriMan@gmail.com. We will put a spot on for them for free. It can be audio only. It can be video and audio if they have a 30-second commercial or something like that. Go ahead and send it to us, and we will put it on free of charge for now. We will, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. We have nothing else really to talk about. We hope you have a great weekend. Bryman's excited for fall, that it's finally here.
I am.
And I think we're just we're gonna sign out. Which song should I play? What do you think? I got one.
That's good.
Yeah, why not? Oh, little Lenny. So, I watched the movie Tagged last weekend. I forgot to mention it.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it a lot. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. It really got me right off the get-go. Like, right out the gate, I was like, yes! This is fantastic.
I have so many movies I need to watch.
Me
I'm
too.
like so far behind on. I want to watch that. I still haven't watched Hereditary. I still haven't watched A Quiet Place.
Yeah. I haven't seen Quiet Place either, but I'm not. It's tough for me to jump in those scary movies, but
all I know is I'm in countdown mode to Halloween right now because that movie is October 19th. So baby, I can't wait.
There's so many.
The early reviews are good.
I want to watch Ready Player One. I want to watch
haven't watched that either. Yeah.
The Fallen Kingdom. I haven't seen that. Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom.
That too.
I haven't seen Red Sparrow. I wanted to watch that with Jennifer Lawrence. There's a lot of movies that I haven't seen, and I really gotta get on the ball. But I've been just like stuck in this mode where I've been watching Chuck. A buddy of ours, Damien, he actually likes the show too. He only really likes the first two seasons.
Chuck?
I'm on season 4 right now, and I am almost done with season 4, and I've loved every season.
Is that show done? That show ended, right?
Oh, yeah. 5 seasons.
Yeah, okay.
5 seasons. I think the 5th season was even shortened.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed it. I'm loving it. The 3rd season is probably my favorite. I love the 3rd season. But he said to check out Damien, The Beautiful Mind says check out Jack Ryan on Amazon Prime if you haven't. Just finished it, and it was well done. Is it like a legit, is it more like 24? Is it more like that than it is Chuck? Because I like the tongue-in-cheek humor. I don't like getting into these that don't provide me a little humor. Because I like to
Who's the best Jack Ryan? I still think it's Harrison. I'm biased. You think about how many guys have played Jack Ryan.
Ben Affleck,
Alec Baldwin, Chris Pine. Don't forget Chris Pine played Jack Ryan.
Yeah, that's very true.
And now John Krasinski. I mean, there's like 5 Jack Ryans. To me, it's still Harrison, but although I would have Alec Baldwin as a close second. I loved him in Hunt for Red October.
It's a great movie.
Affleck was good too, actually.
Yeah.
He was okay. Damien, who's your best Jack Ryan? I don't know. It's got to be Harrison Ford, but
he's going to say John Krasinski. John Krasinski, all the way.
You think so?
He said it's like 24, but more realistic and less crazy action. Oh, okay. So all right, I like that. All right, so that's a recommendation from him. If you have the ability, I think I would definitely check out Chuck. If you have never seen it and you like a little comedy with your action, definitely check it out. Damien would say first 2 seasons and end there. I say keep going. I'm actually this is like the 3rd or 4th time I've watched this whole thing, but I haven't seen it in probably several years, and I'm on season 4. I'm like almost done with 4. I've enjoyed it all. So, I mean, it's getting a little campy, but I like it. I like me a little camp. All right. He said Harrison, and he also said Harrison Ford is tough to beat. I agree.
David's a smart man.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back this coming Monday, and be sure to share this and like it. Give us a like. Give us a thumbs up on the video. We really appreciate it. I don't know what kind of face is that. You all right, buddy? Thanks for coming in sick. He's not feeling good.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be all right.
You'd be all right. Good.
He's sick tomorrow after the Raiders beat the Dolphins, but
that's bad. Not gonna lie to you. But
it's a trap game.
Tannehill, man. What's
it's a trap game.
What's his record in the last 10 games?
So his record under Gase when he's been healthy, is 10-5. So this game tomorrow actually will mark a full season of, albeit broken up, of Tannehill under Gase. If he wins, he would have been 11-5 under Gase.
All right, that's
pretty
good.
It isn't. Yeah,
it's pretty good. Pretty good. All right, man.
Yeah.
We'll see you later. Bye.
Stay classy, Planet Club. Adios.
You can find Sports and Sorts with Shane and the Bryman on iTunes or www.sportsandsorts.libsyn.com.